Okay, this is ACI 6 and we are on chapter 10. On 28th of May, 2026. So we are on chapter 10, how empty things still work. So where are we? Just to show you, we are on the last chapter. We are on emptiness and function. Emptiness and function. And we continue with the sutra. Can somebody read only this one, the first, this one, the top one?
Okay, teacher, I read. It is thus, any living beings who receive an explanation of this sutra and who are not made afraid and are not frightened and who do not become frightened are truly wondrous. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the sutra says that anyone who is in the class right now, who is not afraid and not made frightened, you are truly wondrous. So all of us, yay, we have to rejoice and celebrate. You can see I put the hand, clap hand. Okay, we need celebration. Celebration, where is the celebration? Okay, yay, okay, celebration. What kind of explanation are we learning? The whole ACI 6 is on that nothing exists in an ultimate way. There is no true existence. Nothing has any true existence. And if we hear that, we are not made afraid, frightened, and then run away, then we are truly wondrous. Where is it coming from? Not self-existently, coming from our past kindness, something that we have done in the past, for us to be in the class and yet not be made frightened. So we have to rejoice and be very happy. Yay! Okay. And then we continue with the next one. Why? As usual, they always ask, why? Why is it so? Anybody want to read the top one? Only the top.
Why is it so? Because, Supati, the one that has gone, now speaks to you the holy perfection of wisdom. And the holy perfection which the one has gone now speaks to you is the same perfection of wisdom, which conquering Buddhas beyond any number to count have spoken as well. And this is why we can call it the holy perfection of wisdom.
Thank you. So this is a holy perfection of wisdom spoken by Lord Buddha and spoken by many other Buddhas in the past, countless of Buddhas in the past, and that's why they are called holy perfection of wisdom. I don't know how they connect to the earlier one, okay, but because the first one they say you're truly wondrous, right? And then they say, why is it so? I cannot quite connect to this one, okay? So I leave it to you. And I want to move into something very interesting. Okay, the next part is very interesting. Okay, so this is the one. So we say that this chapter is on emptiness and the function, right? How empty things still work. So the first statement, even though things are empty, they still work. Even though things are empty, they still work. So Kashi Michael say this is a wimpy way to say. He says it's a wimpy way to say. Okay, we should be saying the second one, the blue one. Okay, but let's look at the blue one, the yellow one first. My teacher Sarani, she said that technically this is like a lower school statement. But then in Nagarjuna's text and also in the scripture, this is how it is written. Even though things are empty, they still work. And so my teacher said probably it's a translator's misunderstanding. Yeah, because this is supposed to be a higher school position. But then if you look at the sentence, technically, this is a lower school statement. And then my teacher say probably maybe the author purposely write it in this way to bring up the audience. And probably they try to take a lower school position and then bring them up. So I don't know. So I'm just telling you what I heard. Okay. So Gertrude Michael said this is a wimpy way to say. So we should be saying that because things are empty, they work. How should we say it? Because things are empty, they work. Think about that. Because things are empty, they work. So they work because things are empty. You can put it the other way around. Because things are empty, they work. They work, the things work because things are empty. What do you mean by work? Work means what? Work means that they can function. They can function. They can do what they do. Okay, they can do what they do. We learned before in ACI 4, chapter 5, we learned about changing things. We say functioning things, they are changing things. Right? We say changing things. Why things change is very boring. Okay, it's like the theory behind it, because the energy, imagine if the things work, isn't it? They do what they do. Obviously, the energy will be get lesser, 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 lesser. That one we understand, isn't it? Get lesser, 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 lesser. Okay, so the energy fluctuate, they change. Because we say, oh yeah, okay, logic. Of course, I know I'm not stupid. Okay, so when things function means that they do what they do. They do what? Either the things change other things. Either they are produced or being produced. They're destroyed or being destroyed. Right? They're doing something now. They're doing something now. So as they do something, the energy will go down, 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 down. Okay, so they change, right? Because things are empty, they work. And if they work, means they function, obviously they have to change, isn't it? Yeah, they have to change. The energy will have to change. Okay. So if the things are not empty, what happens if the things are not empty? Then they cannot work, isn't it? They couldn't do anything. Agree or not? If the things are not empty, then they couldn't do anything. If things are not empty, they couldn't do anything. They cannot change. They are self-existent. They cannot change. Okay. And things can function only because they're empty. Because they're empty, then they can function, they can work, they can do something. Yeah. They can become what they are and who they are to the perceiver. This one a bit boring. Wait, later on will be very interesting. Okay. Okay, the next question we want to explore further will be why things change. Why things change. It sounds a bit boring, isn't it? Why things change. Things change, we say, because they function, isn't it? They function. When they function, the energy, the energy, they expand the energy. And how things really work. We say things work by way of our projection, isn't it? Things work by way of our projection. So when things change, is because of our projection have shift. Our projection shift and shift and shift and shift. Why things change? Because our projection shift moment by moment. Okay, I recap. Okay, we say because things are empty, then they can work. Okay, if they're empty, then they can work. They can become, they can work, they can function by way of our projection, right? They can function by way of our projection, by way of our karma. If they are not empty, then they cannot work, they cannot function, they cannot change. So when things change, it's because of our projection shift. Things change because of projection shift. And our projection is always shifting moment by moment, moment by moment. Okay, we'll come back to this question again, okay? And if you go into very deep meditation, you can see that nothing lasts more than an instant. You can perceive that things are being destroyed moment by moment. Nothing lasts more than a second. If you go into deep meditation, you can experience that directly. Okay, we want to go into something very, very interesting. Today's topic, I really love it so much. It's difficult. It's difficult, but it's very interesting. Okay, we connect with what we talked about just now. We say that the higher school, for the higher school, we are now putting on the hat of the higher school. Higher school means that the higher middle way, the prasangika, for them will be things are 100% empty, right? We all know about that. Things are 100% coming from me. Okay, things are 100% empty. And because things are 100% empty, therefore they can work by way of my projection. Now, the 50-50 school, need to put on the hat of the 50-50 school. I bring my hat, okay? So the 50-50 school, they will say that, well, I'm sure there must be something in the thing. The thing must have some nature from their own side, right? It cannot be 100%. Before I put my projection, before I lay my projection, obviously there must be something outside there, right? Some raw data, some parts. Do you get what I mean? Okay, are you with me? Yes, okay. So the 50-50, I'm not putting on the 50-50 school. So the 50-50 school said, no, 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 okay. Before I lay my projection, there is something there for me to lay onto it, correct? Some for my projection to lay onto the parts. So these parts, the external parts, they're already there. They have some nature. I'm sure they have some nature, isn't it, from their own side. Okay, we call it the raw data, or you call it the parts, right? There's some color and shapes, something outside there. Then I put on my projection. The 50-50 school say that. Then how would the higher school answer that? Okay, today we'll move from lower school, higher school, lower school, higher school. So the higher school would say, the higher middle way would say, no, 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 no. Things are 100% empty. Things are 100% empty, including the raw data, including the color and shape outside, including the parts outside, is 100% empty. They're also coming from my projection. How to prove that? How to prove that? Okay. I find for you a few ways to prove that. Okay. Okay, number one, we know the easiest one is the puppy look at this and say that this is a chew toy and they play with it, right? And for me, I write on this. Another example would be, if you remember, we were in ACI 5, chapter 6. So you remember the chubab, the water analysis. Okay, the water analysis. The water analysis is very, very important. I'm so thankful because I have to share this thing, right? I have to study so many times. I finally understand where is the key, the most important part. That's why a lot of people are very confused. I see many students ask this question everywhere, sometimes in other group chat. Okay. Let me make it summarize for you. Okay, for this water analysis, we call it chubab. You have one glass of liquid. I don't say water because there are three beings: a human, a pleasure being, and a preta or hungry spirit. Okay, there are three beings looking at this thing. For this, you can see on the left, isn't it? It's a glass of liquid. There are three parts. So each of these being, they see the parts that they see. The keyword, they see the parts that they see. Okay, they see the parts that they see forced by their karma, right? They see the parts that they see that flopped over and become whatever they're experiencing based on their karma. I link that to what we were talking about just now. We say the parts, 50-50 school say what? The parts, surely there are the parts outside there, there's some nature from their own side, and I lay my projection on the parts, right? And the highest, even the parts itself is also empty, 100% empty. Even the parts is also coming from my projection. So this chubak already explained to you. Each of these beings, they see the parts that they see. Forced by their karma, they see the parts that they see that flop over and turn into whatever they're experiencing based on their karma. Okay, I hope you're with me. Okay. Oh, please. Okay, I'm so worried my Zoom is going to crash again. Please don't crash, okay? Not at this time. Hey. So far, everybody good? Are you okay? Mm. Today, a lot of bad is happening, a lot of distraction. My laptop is giving me a lot of distraction from my distraction seats. Okay. So, are you okay? Yeah. Okay, good. Everybody good. Okay, so if you are not, please stop me. Think, KO, are you putting up your hand? Okay, good. Okay, I do a quick recap. Just now we say that the higher school say that things are 100% empty and therefore they work. And things work because they're 100% empty, 100% are coming from me. And so the lower school say that no, 50-50 school say that no, okay, how can they be 100% empty? There must be something out there. Some of the parts, they have some nature coming from their own side, right? Yeah, there must be some nature. Then some parts out there, and then my projection lay on that. Then the higher school say, no. It's 100% empty. Even the parts is also coming from you, 100% coming from your projection. And we prove that with the puppy and the chew toy. I just want to give you the easiest example. The first one, the puppy and the chew toy, right? The puppy look at this one, the parts that they see, and they play with it. And then I look at the parts, this is a pen for me. And then we go into the second example on the chubab, water analysis. Right? The beings see the parts that they see that flop over into the result, or whatever they are experiencing based on their karma. So we see the parts that we see. Means that the parts is also coming from our projection. Okay. Number 3, I give you another, wow, you see we got a lot of okay, basis to defend that. Number 3. Number 3, if you go looking for the parts, whatever the parts that you name it, okay, you cannot find it. You cannot find the parts. Again, if you go looking for the parts that you label, you cannot find it. What you see will be you find other parts getting another label, other parts getting another label. You find more and more subtle parts getting another label, more and more subtle parts getting another label. You can bring that to your meditation. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Bring that to your meditation. And then you come to the point that it's always parts getting a label, parts, collection of parts getting a label. And there's nothing other than that. That's how things exist. Okay, so next one will be, so still 50-50 school, Still 50-50 school, okay? So we say, things, higher school say, things are 100% empty. Things are 100% coming from your projection. So 50-50 school say, how can medicine be empty? How can things be 100% empty? If it is 100% empty, then how can the medicine work for me? And what I see or what I can see is that there is something in the medicine that make it work for me. Right now, the medicine work for me. It can cure my sickness, and that means that there must be something in the medicine, from it, isn't it? There must be some active ingredient in the medicine. Otherwise, then why would you want to take the medicine, isn't it? Then why would scientists do the research? Why would the doctor give me this prescription? There must be something in the medicine from themselves. Okay, so that is their position, the lower school position. Then how would the higher school position want to answer? How would you want to answer? So the higher school would say that, well, so now your argument would be the medicine, they have some nature from their own side that make it work, right? Okay. So in that case, that means that everyone who take the medicine, will work for them. Will it work for them? Will this medicine work for everyone who take them? We say, no, sometimes they work for sometimes they don't work. Right? Sometimes somebody who take the medicine, they get better. Sometimes somebody who take the medicine, they get worse. Sometimes somebody take the medicine, no response. Isn't it? We have heard that enough time to know, right? So if there is something inherent in the medicine, then it should work for everybody, isn't it? Then it should work for everybody. then it should work all the time. But that is not true. Then why is it not true? So we say that the medicine is 100% empty, 100% empty, and we prove that, right? Because different people, some is they get better, some get worse, some no response. So it's 100% empty. Empty of what? Empty of not coming from our projection. And if it work, it's because we have loaded it with, we have learned this, we know well enough because we have loaded the medicine with our seeds, right? The seeds make them work for us. If we have loaded with the bullet, if we have loaded our seeds with the bullet, then they can work. Yeah, we have the karma for that to work. Again, I say that the medicine. Let me see what is the next question. I go and create some questions. Okay, I don't want this question. Move on to the next one. Okay. So you say that if it is based on my karma, so if I load it with my karma, then I can take anything and it should work for me, right? So if it is based on my karma, if I load it with my karma, my being kind, I go and help other people, then I can take anything and it should work for me. True or not? What do you think? You want to try to make a guess? You want to type in the chat? What do you think? Okay, I should say don't understand. Got example, God. Got example. Okay, so if we say that the medicine will only work if I have loaded it with bullets, means that like if I have the seeds for that, for the medicine to work for me by helping other people. So if I have the seeds, if I have the karma, I help other people, that means I don't have to take the medicine. I can just maybe take a cookie, I can just take biscuit, and it can still work for me. Okay, some say yes, some say no. Okay, if you have the karma for that, technically it can work for you. Okay, you can. Technically, you can. And I've experienced that myself. Okay, okay. How I experience that? Sometimes I know that I'm going to fall sick, isn't it? My body very heaty. I'm going to fall sick many times. Then for me, since I'm going to fall sick, I was thinking, since I'm going to fall sick tomorrow, today I want to eat something really, I'm going to eat everything that I want to eat. After all, tomorrow I'm going to fall sick. I have a tendency to think in that way. Some heaty food that normally I avoid, if I know I'm going to fall sick soon, then I will go and eat. I will go and wallop all the food. And then suddenly I just feel everything is good. I just like cured by the heaty food. That is amazing. That shows us that if you have this, that every moment is different, it's shifting all the time. Technically, it can be. So Jaslyn and Raymond say yes, and somebody else also say. Who else? I say. Let me see. If you have the seats, yeah, Raymond say. Jenny also. Wow, they're all very expert, Aisu. Jasmine say maybe yes, maybe no. Yeah, what if obstructed by bad seed? Yes, that is possible. That is possible. Okay, so technically that can be true if you have the seeds for that. Okay, so the next question, I go and find some way. Okay, what would the lower middle way think? What would the lower school think? So in that case, why bother to take the medicine? Why bother to see doctor? I can just work on my seeds. In that case, why bother to take medicine? Why bother to see doctor? Just work on my seeds. Is it okay? So how would you tell this person? Okay, work on your seeds and see the doctor. Okay, don't just work on your seeds, okay? Work on your seeds and take the medicine. Yeah, Laura and Daniel say because the postman, because we have the karma. Right now, I live in the world where I have this ripening of the karma for this medicine that I have to take the medicine and for the medicine to work for me. The medicine is like the vehicle, like what Laura say, Laura and Daniel. And that is, right now I live in the world where that's how my karma is ripening. My karma is ripening as the pill for me to take, yeah, and for me to get well by taking the medication. And so if I get well by taking the medicine, is it because of the medicine, the medicine have something inherent in the medicine for it to work? If let's say now I take the medicine, okay, I say I live in the world where I have to take the medicine, right? It's the vehicle, right? So if I take the medicine and I get well, so is it because the medicine, is it because I get well because of taking the medicine? Not alone, okay? I get well because of my seeds ripening for the medicine to work for me. Again, it is because of my seeds ripening for the medicine to work for me, not from the medicine alone. Exactly. Yeah, what Raymond said, the doctor is another good factor to support our seeds. Yeah. Contributing factor. Is because of my seeds ripening for the medicine to work for me. Okay, not from the medicine on their own. Okay, so that is on the medicine. Okay, the medicine. Next one, want to move into something very interesting. Okay. So the lower middle way school, they say, okay, so all right. So that's how you things come from our projection, but it's difficult for me to accept that for causation, cause and result, karma, the cause and result. Then what about cause and result? Surely there must be something, surely the cause and result, they have some reality of their own, right? So that is the next thing we want to investigate. Okay, so cause and result. So again, the lower middle way, they throw the question. They say, okay, then what about cause and result or cause and effect? Surely the cause and result, they have some reality of their own, isn't it? Right. They cannot be 100% empty. How can the cause and result be a projection? How can that be? If the cause and result is a projection, then why do you put this papaya seed? You plant the papaya seed to get the papaya tree. Surely this papaya seed have some nature of their own, right? Otherwise, why you want to put papaya seed to get papaya tree? I'm sure there's some nature from their own side for this papaya seed to create the papaya tree. But every time I see I put papaya seed, I get papaya tree. Otherwise, why you put the papaya seed? Just put anything lah. Just can put anything. So the higher school, how are they going to answer that? This is very difficult. For me, I think it's very challenging, but you think about it, you meditate, you'll be able to understand. Okay, so the cause and result, as we have mentioned earlier on last time before, we say it is also empty. The high school say cause and result is also empty. Karma is also empty. Empty of what? Empty of not coming from my projection, right? It's not that empty means nothing, you know. When I say cause and result is empty, it's empty of not coming from my projection. And just because it's empty doesn't mean that anything can make anything. Just because that is empty doesn't mean that you can just put anything to make anything. And because they are empty, they're 100% empty, and therefore they can, the cause and result can function. And therefore this papaya seed can cause a papaya tree. The papaya seed can give a papaya tree by way of our projection. Okay, by way of our projection. Again, I say, okay, when we say cause and result is also empty. Empty of what? Empty of not coming from our projection. Okay, if it is not empty, then they cannot become the, okay, I rephrase. Because it's empty, then they can function in that way. Because it's empty, 100% empty, and therefore they can work or they can function in this way. The papaya seed can grow into a papaya tree by way of our projection. Again, the keyword is by way of our projection. So if I'm the lower middle way school, I will ask, why that way? Why every time this one, the papaya seed will give a papaya tree? Why in that way? Surely there must be some nature, isn't it? So in general, there are certain pattern of reality once we have taken certain type of life form. Okay? Certain life form, they follow certain pattern of reality, and the karma which create the papaya seed normally follow certain pattern of reality of creating papaya tree. And so when we see a papaya seed that grow into a papaya tree, it's not from their own side, okay? It's not independent of our projection. It is not independent of our projection. It's from our karma. This one I get from Diamond Way, Kashi Michael's answer, okay? I think the previous Diamond Way class, he did mention about that. Okay? They follow certain pattern of reality because of the life form that we have taken. So this is like the certain, when you see the papaya seed grow into the papaya tree, okay, it is not, how should I put it? When we see the papaya seed grow into the papaya tree, it's not from their own side. It's not from their own side independent of our projection. It is because of our karma that we have this projection to see a papaya seed become a papaya tree. They follow a certain pattern of reality. Okay, cook on that. Then we'll come back to this one next week. Okay, next week will be more, we can talk more about that. Okay, so today I give you an idea. So next week you will be the one who tell me. I already picked a lot of questions already for us to discuss. Okay, I like what Aisu said. It's important to always remember the medicine that work doesn't exist on its own. Yeah. Okay. When it works, it's because of our seeds ripening for the medicine to work. not that the medicine work independent of our projection. Okay, I like what Daniel said. It is a law of growing that's coming from my seed, from our seeds. Yes, because of the pattern of reality that we have taken, because of the life form that we have taken, this life form, they follow certain pattern of reality. Okay. Okay, we'll come back and talk more about this next week. We'll continue with part 2. Okay, so that's it. Sharp 10 o'clock. Let's do a dedication. Can you just close your eyes? And be very, very happy with yourself that you're here. We are all trying to learn. And we are all trying to put a crack into how we are perpetuating our suffering, how we are perpetuating our habitual action that creates suffering and causes to suffer more. And so know that we are collecting extraordinary goodness here as we listen and try to understand that things have no reality on their own, coming from them, independent of our projection. And such a great, great goodness. So be very, very happy with yourself. And we want to share this goodness with all sentient beings in the universe. We want them to be happy, to be free from all the suffering too. And so, by the power of the goodness that we have just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the 2 ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. Now bring your mind back to the space here. And open your eyes when you're ready. Okay, that's it. This is really a difficult topic. It's not easy.
Have to digest.
I really struggle for this chapter 10. Oh, I don't know how to put it, how to present it. Yeah.
Is this the last chapter already?
Yeah, this is chapter 10, but chapter 10 is very long, but I can make it short also. Okay.
Also, it's a last chapter or revision already?
We will have part 2 next week. I think I can finish by next week, part 2. Then I think we have another 2 to 3 classes, 2 to 3. Hopefully I can finish in 2 classes. I think I can finish in 2.
Okay, can. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
bye-bye.